Always with Narendra Modi swept to force in 2014, India has seen a revival in order-wing Indian nationalism. The Hindu PM has done it the cornerstone of his continuing de-election campaigning. Sudik Biswas meets a personality proclaimed legman of Indian nationalism, and explores the forces drive the growth of the distant right in India. Sharad Sharma was 20 while order-wing Indian mobs tore downward a masjid in his town, causing one of the lowest bouts of sectarian atrocity in freelance India. It happened in the fabled town of Ayodhya in the northern country of Uttar Pradesh on December 6, 1992. The mob how raised the 16th-age Babri Masjid declared how it was constructed on the website of a shrine ruined by Muslim rulers. More than importantly, they told it was permanent on land believed to be the homeland of the Indian deity, Ram. I was not at the website. I recall human beings fleeing via the city, back of the website. They were exultant, shouting Hi Sri Ram, hello Lord Memory, Mr. Sharma said me while I met him in Ayodhya newly. He had grown up in the shrine-studded town auditory to stories of the internal controversy. Hindus and Muslim include been at loggerheads above the sanctuary for more than rather than a age. Over how year, he had united the Bajrangiv, a distant right Indian supremacist team how was mobilization supporting to construct a Indian shrine at the website of the ruined Babri Masjid. The team is portion of the San Parivar or Household of Indian Nationalist Groups. They are led by the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, wide recognized as the parental organization of Narendra Modi's steering Bharatiya Janata side, BJP. The Bajrang Dal is formally outlined as a safety circle of Indian community. At Bajrangiv, I would conduct meetings in officials, and do several organized job. How's all, Mr. Sharma says. 4 persons year after, in 1996, he united the Vishva Indian Parasad, VHP, or the Planet Indian Justice, that was at the foreground of the drift of the masjid. Policy scholar Manjari Kajha describes the team as a noisy and belligerent brother of the RSS. 2 years after, Mr. Sharma was taking into account the liability of processing the print and equipped the regional representative of the organization. In period, print concern in the shrine appears to include waned. These days, he says, he generally interacts in a fistful of regional journalists. Agitating for the shrine is not all we do. We run schools, dispensaries, job in tribes people all above the nation. Down there's a lot of some job. The evolutionary of the son of a attorney and a high school tutor in a term of a distant right supremacist team was maybe foretold. In his previous year, Mr. Sharma consumable a lot of his period traveling in his dad, who practiced as a penal attorney, and wrote articles in newspapers. His grandpa investigated mechanical engineering in Lahore, currently in Pakistan, and treated as a civilian engineering in Ayodhya. While he was a undergraduate, Mr. Sharma would frequently visit regional shakas or everyday meetings detained by the RSS. Down there they were learned training session on nationism, public scientific, ethical scientific, and story. One latter night, on the banks of Sarayu inland that fluid history Ayodhya, I saw a team of family keeping hands, singing poems and repeating training session. They are family of a shaka. How's how we learned things there, Mr. Sharma says. As a adolescent, he lived in a town how was quickly sliding in the policy of complaint, disappointment and discrimination. In 1989, drastic Indian religionists opened plans to construct a great Ram shrine wherever the Babri Masjid stood. A coalition of Muslim groups answered in outcry marches and election meetings. A elder BJP lead start up a national march to the shrine. It was, as observers told, a complete blown-up campaigning of hate by communalists on both of sides. The identical year, Indian groups grown in circulation to gather bricks relief in the behalf Ram and little grant of tens of thousands of villages through India. The bricks would be sanctified and undertaken to Ayodhya. Brand sectarian leaders and Kar Savaks, Indian voluntary, streamed in Ayodhya to agitate supporting for the shrine. Myths swirled about the contested website. In VHP's expressive of story, 176,000 Hindus were annihilated. Hard to protect the shrine on that India's at first Mughal governor Babur supposedly constructed the masjid. This die drawing is ridiculous and has no base any, but to its letter of credit VHP has rotated childish promotion in famous story, says Valai Singh, writer of Ayodhya, Town of Belief, Town of Dissonance. Mr. Sharma remembers it all as a really intoxicating period. I was, at one day, both of encouraged and irate while I heard the speeches of the saints and the stories on the masjid. I felt how a historic incorrect had to be fixed. We would be on the roads offer meal and water supply to the voluntary who began inbound there of all above India. Things came to a chief in 1990 while the police force fired on car Savaks closed the town for defying a curfew and fire on-site orders, murder several of them. How was very the recent stubble for us, he says. I was stunned how harmless ritualists had been annihilated. Earning downward the masjid 2 years after was a response to the murder of our voluntary. In man, Mr. Sharma, a master's grade in Hindi language, is smoothly courteous and cheap key. His woman is a housewife who as well does public job, and his son is student to be a attorney in the noisy country equity of Lucknow, several 135 km, 83 miles, of Ayodhya. His sibling rest a car rent company. He says he has a few Muslim friends, who as well wish the shrine to be constructed. Mr. Sharma is a personality professed news story addict. Proverb his favorite hobbyist is debating the news story of the day in comrade workers and journalists. The reality how Mr. Sharma isn't a celebrity of the reviving Indian order doesn't appear to worry him. He's lucky to stay a devoted leg man and expect with patience for the shrine to be constructed. A few doors off of his job, several 350,000 sacrificed bricks bearings the behalf ram and cut sand primary elements are sophisticated in a seminar. All the will be utilized to construct the shrine. I ask him if he feels disappointed how the shrine hasn't yet been constructed. The controversy above the website has been fought in India's courts for more than rather than part a age and a decision doesn't seem to be in view still. India fought the UK for almost 100 years to be freelance. The Babri Masjid came downward fair 26 years back. It noted the end of our sectarian bondage. The shrine will be constructed. We will expect. The human beings are in us. Who knows? Perhaps else General will construct the shrine. Which on the lives lose in rioting and abuse above the shrine and the concoction how it was generally caused by VHP Tempest troopers. If attacks include happened in the history, it is since historic wrongs had to be fixed. Following corrective these wrongs, we can all dwell along. Mr. Sharma denies how the VHP has been implicated in stoking atrocity versus sexual minorities. Hindus can never be unrest. Down there's no Indian terrorism. We never begin a confronting. If our temples are attacked or heard slain, we will respond and oppose. If we are hard in quantity, we will penalize the foe, he says. We are humans. Things occur.